Commander Jack Miller sat straight in his chair at the large round table. The Galactic Council chamber was grand, with high ceilings and walls made of a shimmering material that changed colors. Today they were a deep blue, matching Miller's dark mood. For 5 years, he had represented humanity in this room. For 5 years, he had been polite, reasonable, and patient. Today, his patience had run out. The motion to send aid to the human colonies under attack is denied by a vote of 12 to 1, announced the council leader, a tall Valaxian with silver skin who barely looked at Miller as he spoke. Miller took a deep breath. Around him sat representatives from 12 alien species, all older and supposedly wiser than humans. The Valaxians had been in space for 10,000 years. The Crete had mastered faster than light travel when humans were still figuring out fire. All of them looked down on humanity as the new wild children of the galaxy. "May I address the council?" Miller asked, his voice calm despite the anger he felt inside. The council leader waved a long-fingered hand. "Earth may speak." Miller stood up. He had not planned this speech, but the words came easily. For the 3rd time this year, human colonies are under attack by Nexari forces. For the 3rd time, we have come to this council with proof, with videos of our dead, with the burning remains of our outposts. And for the 3rd time, you have done nothing. A few council members shifted uncomfortably. Most didn't move. "The Nexari are not just a human problem," Miller continued. "Their ships have been spotted near Crete space. Their agents have been caught on Valaxian trading posts. They are testing our borders, looking for weakness." "Humans always exaggerate threats," said the Valaxian leader. "Your species sees danger everywhere because you are so new to the stars. The Nexari are simply traders with rough methods." Miller's assistant, Lisa Jones, slid a tablet toward him. On it was a single message from Earth Command. "We have your back. Do what you must." Miller nodded slightly. "When we joined this council 8 years ago, we believed in its mission of peace and cooperation among stars. We believed that together we could face any threat." Miller paused, looking at each alien face around the table. "We were wrong." The chamber grew very quiet. "As of this moment, humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council." Several aliens stood up at once, voices rising. "You cannot. This is not proper. The withdrawal process takes 5 cycles to." Miller raised his hand. The room fell silent again. "We are not asking permission. We are informing you of our decision. Human ships will no longer patrol Council space. Human resources will no longer support Council projects. Human colonies will defend themselves by any means necessary." The Council leader's silver skin flushed a dark purple. "This is the behavior we expected from humans all along. Rash, emotional, dangerous." Miller gathered his notes and nodded to his team. Lisa and the other 3 human diplomats stood. "Perhaps," Miller said, "but I will tell you what a human would never do. We would never abandon our allies. We would never watch innocent people die when we could help. Remember that in the days to come." As Miller turned to leave, an older alien, the Telmar representative, spoke up. "The humans have been valuable allies. Perhaps we should reconsider the vote." The council leader slammed his hand on the table. "The vote is final. If the humans wish to leave, let them. They will come back begging for protection when they realize how dangerous the galaxy truly is." Miller stopped at the great doors of the chamber and looked back one last time. "For your sake," he said softly, "I hope you don't need our protection before we need yours." With that, the human delegation walked out. The great doors closed behind them with a sound like thunder. The day humans left the council had arrived. And though no one knew it yet, everything was about to change. Admiral Susan Wright stood at the large window of Earth Command Station. Before her, the blue planet turned slowly. Around it, hundreds of ships moved in careful patterns, like dancers following silent music. Her comm unit beeped. "Admiral, we have Commander Miller on secure channel." "Put him through," she said. Miller's face appeared on the screen. He looked tired but calm. "It's done, Susan. We're out." Wright nodded. She had known this day might come. For years, she had watched the Council ignore human warnings, block human advances, and treat Earth like a backward child. "Protocol Lone Wolf is ready," she said, "just waiting for your confirmation." Miller looked down for a moment, then back up with clear eyes. "The President has approved. Begin, Lone Wolf." Wright turned to her command staff. "Send the signal. All human ships are to withdraw from joint patrols and Council space immediately. Activate our border defense network." Across the galaxy, human captains received the code. Warships broke formation with alien vessels. Science teams packed up equipment. Freight ships changed course. Like a tide going out, humanity pulled back from Council space. On the mining colony of New Dakota, engineer Frank Galloway watched the alien workers load their ships. The Mrethi foreman, a green-skinned being with 4 arms, approached him. "Is it true?" the alien asked. "Humans have left the Council." Frank nodded. "Just got word an hour ago." The Mrethi looked nervous. "Will there be fighting? We have families here." Frank shook his head. "This isn't about you folks. You're welcome to stay and work. But I understand if you want to leave." The Mrethi looked relieved but still worried. "Many are saying humans will attack Council worlds now." Frank laughed. "That's not our way. We just want to protect our own. The Council wouldn't help, so we'll do it ourselves." As the alien walked away, Frank looked up at the sky. 3 more alien ships were leaving. By tomorrow, half the colony's non-human population would be gone, all because the Council had spread fear about what humans might do. Back on Earth, President Alan Kelly addressed the United Nations. "Today marks a new chapter for humanity among the stars," he said. "For too long, we have bent to the will of older civilizations who claim to know better. We joined their Council in good faith, hoping to learn and grow alongside them." He paused, his face grave. "Instead, we found that the Council was interested only in control, not cooperation. When our colonies needed help, they turned their backs. When we offered new ideas, they dismissed them without consideration." The room was silent. Every nation on Earth had invested in the dream of joining the galactic community. Now that dream was changing. "Starting today, we stand alone again. But we stand together as one human family. Our ships will defend our borders. Our scientists will develop technologies without Council restrictions. Our traders will find new partners who value fair exchange." In her office at the new Interstellar Relations Department, Ambassador Lori Peters watched the President's speech while sorting through messages. Already, representatives from smaller, non-Council worlds were reaching out, interested in direct agreements with Earth. She picked up one message from a Telnar trader. "Humans make better friends than masters," it read. "Many of us have waited for this day." Lori smiled. Perhaps humanity wouldn't be as alone as the Council thought. On the bridge of the patrol ship Eagle, Captain Steve Ortiz received new orders. His ship had been part of a joint patrol with Valaxian vessels along the border of Nexari space. Now he was to return to human territory. The Valaxian captain appeared on his screen. "You are leaving your assigned position, human." "New orders," Ortiz replied simply. "We're going home." "And who will watch this sector?" "The Nexari have been probing here for weeks." Ortiz smiled without humor. "I guess that's a Council problem now." As human ships across the galaxy changed course and headed home, a ripple of uncertainty spread through the stars. Everything was about to change, and no one, not even the humans, knew exactly how. 3 months passed since humanity left the Council. Earth ships patrolled human space, scientists worked freely without Council restrictions, and colonies strengthened their defenses. A new sense of purpose united people across all human worlds. Then the Nexari attacked. Not Earth, not human colonies. They struck at the heart of Valaxian space. Ambassador Lori Peters was working late when the message came in. The communication screen lit up with an urgent signal from a source she never expected. The Valaxian High Command. "This is Ambassador Peters," she said. The face that appeared was not the proud, silver-skinned Valaxian she remembered from council meetings. This one looked tired, with dark patches under its large eyes. "Ambassador, I am Sub-Commander Zilf of the Valaxian Defense Force. We are under attack. The Nexiri have launched a full invasion of our home system." Peters kept her face calm, though her heart raced. "I'm sorry to hear that, Sub-Commander. Have you contacted the Council? The Council fleet is scattered. They cannot respond in time." The Valaxian paused. "We request human assistance." Peters thought of all the times the Valaxians had dismissed human warnings about the Nexiri, all the times they had blocked human proposals for stronger defenses. "I will bring this to our leadership," she said evenly. "But I must be honest. There may be questions about why we should help those who refuse to help us." The Valaxian lowered its head. "We understand. But please hurry. Our outer colonies are already falling." Within an hour, President Kelly had gathered his emergency council. Military leaders, diplomats, and colony representatives joined by secure links. "The Valaxians want our help," Kelly said. "The same Valaxians who led the vote against helping our colonies." Admiral Wright displayed a map of Valaxian space. Red markers showed Nexiri advances. "The attack is massive and well-planned," she said. "From our intelligence, the Nexiri have at least 300 warships. The Valaxians have maybe half that number." "Let them burn," said Governor Leon Hammond of New Dakota Colony. "My people still have nightmares about the Nexiri raids. Where were the Valaxians then?" Commander Miller, recently returned from Council space, spoke up. "I understand the anger. I feel it too. But this isn't just about the Valaxians. If the Nexiri take their worlds and technology, they'll be even stronger when they come for us. And they will come for us." The room grew quiet. "There's something else," said Dr. Ellie Howard, head of military intelligence. "We've intercepted Nexiri communications. They think we're still bound by Council rules of engagement. They don't know how much our technology has advanced since we left." President Kelly looked around the room. "I need opinions. Do we help the Valaxians?" For nearly an hour, they debated. Some argued for letting the Council face the consequences of ignoring human warnings. Others worried about the Nexiri growing stronger. A few spoke of human values, of not abandoning others to suffer, even former enemies. Finally, Kelly raised his hand for silence. "We will not abandon our principles just because others abandon theirs," he said. "But neither will we rush in blindly. Admiral Wright, prepare Operation Silent Shield. We will position forces near Valaxian space, but not engage unless necessary." Wright nodded. "I have just the officer to lead this mission." On the bridge of the heavy cruiser Defiant, Captain Bethany Collins received her orders. Her ship, along with 5 others, would move to the edge of Valaxian space. They would observe and report, intervening only if human interests were directly threatened. As the small fleet prepared to depart, Collins studied the intelligence reports. The Nexiri were striking hard and fast, overwhelming Valaxian defenses that had grown comfortable after centuries of peace. "Captain," her executive officer said, "the crew is asking what we're really doing out there. Are we helping the Valaxians or not?" Collins looked at the star map. At the path of destruction, the Nexiri were carving. "We're going to do what humans always do," she said. "The right thing, when it matters most." Captain Bethany Collins stood on the bridge of the Defiant, watching the battle unfold on the main screen. Her small fleet of 6 human ships had reached the edge of Valaxian space. They stayed hidden behind a large moon, sensors at maximum range. "Status report," Collins said quietly. Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Sam Harris, shook his head. "Not good, Captain. The Valaxians have lost their outer defense line. 3 of their colony worlds are already under Nexiri control." Collins nodded. Her orders were clear: observe but do not engage unless human interests were directly threatened. She had repeated those orders to her crew every day for the past week. New contacts, called out the sensor officer. Civilian ships, at least 30 of them. They're running from the Valaxian capital. Collins leaned forward. Refugees. Yes, ma'am. Mostly families based on the life sign readings. They're heading for the jump point to neutral space. The screen shifted to show a new set of ships, larger with the sharp angles and red markings of Nexari warships. Nexari battle group changing course, Harris said, his voice tense. They're moving to intercept the refugee convoy. Collins felt her stomach tighten. This wasn't her fight. These weren't her people. The Valaxians had refused to help humans when the Nexari attacked their colonies. The lead Nexari ship is powering weapons, Harris reported. In her mind, Collins saw the reports from New Dakota, the burned homes, the children who would never grow up. The Valaxians had done nothing then. But she was human, and humans were better than that. Battle stations, Collins said, her voice steady. Shield up. Bring us out from behind the moon, full speed. Target the lead Nexari vessel. Her crew moved quickly. They had trained for this moment, even if they hadn't expected it to come so soon. Captain, her executive officer said quietly, Our orders. Our orders are to protect human interests. Collins interrupted. And it is in our interest to show the galaxy what humanity stands for. She turned to face her crew. We do not let innocent people die. Not when we can stop it. The Defiant moved out from behind the moon, followed by the other 5 ships. They formed a perfect line between the refugee convoy and the Nexari battle group. Open a channel to the Nexari, Collins ordered. A harsh face appeared on the screen. The Nexari commander had gray skin and yellow eyes with vertical pupils. This is a council matter, the Nexari said before Collins could speak. Human ships are not welcome here. Collins smiled without warmth. We're not with the council anymore. We make our own decisions now, and we've decided those civilian ships are under our protection. The Nexari commander laughed. 6 ships against our 15. Your human bravery is actually human stupidity. Perhaps, Collins said. Or perhaps we know something you don't. She cut the transmission and turned to Harris. Target their lid ship. Use the new shield disruptors. Harris grinned as he input the commands. With pleasure, Captain. The Defiant fired. A beam of light, not the standard yellow of human weapons, but a bright blue that no one in the galaxy had seen before. It struck the Nexari ship directly. There was no explosion, no visible damage. But suddenly, the Nexari vessel's shields flickered and died. The Nexari commander called back immediately. What is this technology? What have you done? Collins ignored him. All ships, target engines, and weapons only. Let's show them what humans have been working on these past 3 months. 5 more blue beams lashed out, striking 5 more Nexari ships. Their shields collapsed just as quickly. Fire conventional weapons. Disable only, Collins ordered. The human ships fired again. This time, the shots hit unprotected hulls. Nexari engines died. Weapon mounts exploded. In less than 2 minutes, 6 Nexari ships hung dead in space. The remaining Nexari vessels turned and fled. On the refugee ships, thousands of Valaxians watched in amazement. The species that the Council had dismissed as primitive had just revealed technology that no one knew they possessed. Collins opened a channel to the refugee convoy. This is Captain Bethany Collins of Earth Force. We will escort you to the jump point. You are under our protection now. Across the galaxy, video of the short battle spread rapidly. Human ships defending Valaxian refugees. Human technology making quick work of Nexari warships. The galaxy's perception of the reckless primates was about to change forever. 6 months after humanity left the Council, the Grand Hall of the United Nations in Geneva was filled with beings from across the galaxy. Director Paul Martinez sat at the head of the table, watching as alien representatives took their seats. Some looked nervous, others seemed angry. All of them were here for the same reason. They needed human help. The Nexari had pushed deep into Council space. 4 member worlds had fallen. 3 more were under attack. Even the mighty Valaxians were on the edge of defeat. "This meeting will come to order," Martine said. He was a calm man with gray hair and steady hands. President Kelly had chosen him to lead this meeting because he never showed fear or excitement. The council leader, a different Valaxian than before, stood up first. His silver skin had lost its shine, and his eyes showed his exhaustion. "Director Martinez, honored representatives of Earth, we come to you in our time of need. The Galactic Council formally requests Earth's assistance against the Nexari threat." Martinez nodded. "We have reviewed your request. We have seen the reports of Nexari attacks, and we have made our decision." The room grew very quiet. "Earth will help," Martinez said. Several aliens let out sounds of relief. A few began to talk excitedly among themselves. However, Martinez continued, and the room fell silent again. "We have conditions." "What conditions?" asked the council leader. "First, human forces will operate with full military autonomy. We will not be subject to council battle plans or restrictions." The council leader frowned but nodded. "Second, Earth must have access to the ancient technology archives that were previously restricted to humans." This caused more concern. A Crete representative spoke up. "Those archives contain dangerous knowledge. That is why they are restricted." Martinez smiled without humor. "The time for such restrictions has passed. The Nexari are using weapons based on that ancient knowledge. We need to understand what we're fighting." "And third?" asked the council leader, clearly expecting worse. "Humans will lead the Joint Defense Initiative. All council forces will follow human command in battle." Now there were loud protests. The idea of younger humans commanding ancient species was shocking to many. The council leader raised his hands for silence. "These terms are difficult. They are non-negotiable," Martine said simply. "You came to us because what you've been doing isn't working. If you want our help, you accept our way of doing things." The alien representatives talked among themselves. Some argued loudly. Others whispered urgently. After several minutes, the council leader spoke again. "We accept your terms. The situation is too desperate for pride." Martinez nodded. "Then it's agreed. Human forces will begin moving into council space immediately." As the meeting continued, Lieutenant Olivia Clark stood at the back of the room. Her job was to escort the alien dignitaries to their quarters after the meeting. She watched their faces carefully. Most showed relief that Earth would help, but she also saw resentment in many eyes. They needed humans, but they didn't like needing them. A young Valaxian aide approached her. "Is it true?" he asked quietly. "Did human ships really defeat a Nexari battle group with new technology?" Clark nodded. "Captain Collins and her fleet, 6 human ships against 15 Nexari vessels. And you have more of these ships, these weapons." Clark smiled. "That's classified. But I wouldn't worry too much. Humans are good at surprising people." The Valaxians seemed to study her. "My teacher always said humans were dangerous because they adapt too quickly. I think I understand now what he meant." After the meeting, Martinez found Clark in the hallway. "What do you think, Lieutenant? Will this alliance work?" Clark considered the question. "They're afraid, sir, both of the Nexari and of us. They don't understand how we developed so much in just 6 months." Martinez nodded. "Fear can be useful if it teaches respect." He looked at the documents in his hand. "Tomorrow, they'll see just how much humanity has changed since we left the Council, and then they'll really be afraid." As night fell over Geneva, ships were already launching from bases around Earth. The human counterattack was about to begin. And for the first time in galactic history, the oldest civilizations among the stars would follow the lead of the youngest. The Armstrong Lunar Military Base was the largest human military facility in the solar system. Built into the gray dust of the moon, most of it lay hidden underground. Today, its main hangar doors stood open, revealing what humans had been building in secret. General William Porter watched as the alien military advisors stepped off their shuttle. Their eyes immediately went to the massive ships hovering above the lunar surface, ships that no one outside Earth had seen before. "Welcome to Armstrong Base," Porter said. "I'm General Porter. I'll be showing you our defense fleet today." The Council military delegation included officers from 7 different species. Their leader, a Crete admiral named Zoltek, looked at the ships with narrowed eyes. These vessels were not in any report on human military capacity, Zoltek said. Porter smiled. "That's because we only finished building them after we left the Council." He led the group to a viewing platform that rose up from the lunar surface. From here, they could see the entire fleet, 30 large warships, each with a design unlike anything in Council space. "This is the Orion-class battleship," Porter said, pointing to the nearest vessel. "Twice as fast as anything the Council has. 3 times the firepower of a Valaxian dreadnought." The aliens whispered among themselves. One of them, a Telnar weapons expert, stepped forward. "How is this possible? Such advances in just 6 months." Porter shook his head. "We didn't develop all this in 6 months. We've been working on these designs for years. But Council restrictions prevented us from building them." "Those restrictions exist for good reasons," Zoltek said stiffly. "Some technologies are too dangerous to be widely used. And yet the Nexiri are using them," Porter replied, "which is why we ignored those restrictions once we left the Council." Science officer Nancy Green joined them on the platform. She carried a tablet showing detailed scans. "The Nexiri ships use an energy signature that matches ancient weapons described in the archives," she explained to the visitors. "The same archives you kept locked away from us." Green tapped her tablet, and a hologram appeared. It showed a simulation of a battle between human ships and Nexiri vessels. "We've designed our weapons specifically to target Nexiri vulnerabilities," she said. "Their shield frequency changes every 3 minutes. Our systems can adapt faster than they can change." One of the alien advisors, a Valaxian engineer, shook his head in disbelief. "This should be impossible. Your species is too young to have mastered such technology." Porter laughed. "That's always been your mistake. You think age equals wisdom. We think differently." He led them inside the base to a large command center. On the main screen was a map of Council space, with red markers showing Nexiri-controlled areas. "Tomorrow, the first wave of our fleet deploys," Porter explained. 10 Orion-class battleships, 20 support vessels. Their mission is to secure the jump points here, here, and here. He pointed to key locations on the map. "That strategy leaves these sectors exposed," objected Zoltek. "By your standards, yes," Porter agreed. "But we don't fight the way you do. We won't be defending fixed positions. We'll be taking the fight directly to Nexiri space." The alien officers looked shocked. No one had ever launched a direct attack on Nexiri home systems. "That's suicide," said a Telnar commander. "The Nexiri have fortified their core worlds for centuries." Green smiled. "Did you know that human fiction is full of stories about beating impossible odds? We call it the human spirit. You call it recklessness, but it works." Porter pulled up detailed battle plans. "This is how we'll coordinate with your remaining forces. Your ships will secure civilian evacuation routes, while our main fleet engages the Nexiri." As the alien officers studied the plans, their expressions changed from doubt to cautious hope. The humans had thought of angles they hadn't considered, seen weaknesses they had missed. Later, as the delegation prepared to leave, Zoltek approached Porter privately. "You know," the Crete admiral said, "many in the Council feared what would happen if humans ever broke free of our guidance. They feared you would become too powerful, too quickly." Porter nodded. "And?" Zoltek looked back at the fleet of advanced ships. "It seems they were right to be afraid. But now, we're grateful for it." The next day, human ships launched from bases across Earth space. For the first time, The galaxy would see what humanity could really do when they weren't held back. Admiral Rick Davis stood on the bridge of the UNS Valiant, the largest human battleship ever built. Around him, human officers worked at their stations with quick, sure movements. On the main screen, a vast space battle played out across 3 star systems. It was the largest military operation in galactic history. 127 human ships fought alongside 200 Council vessels against the Nexari fleet. "Status report," Davis said calmly. His tactical officer nodded. "Our forces in Sector 4 have broken through the Nexari line. The Valaxian fleet is following our lead, just as planned." Davis studied the battle map. For 2 weeks, human ships had pushed deep into Nexari territory. Their tactics were unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Council military leaders had called them insanely aggressive. The Nexari had no answer for them. "Sir, we're receiving a priority message from Proxima Colony," said his communications officer. "Put it through," Davis ordered. The screen changed to show the face of Marine Colonel Heather Martinez. She wore battle armor and had dirt on her face. "Admiral, ground forces have secured the main Nexari command post on Proxima Colony," she reported. "We found something you need to see." The view shifted to show a room full of strange devices. They pulsed with a blue light. "Their command center contained these," Martinez said. "Our science team says they're jump point destabilizers. They were planning to collapse all the jump points leading to Earth." Davis felt a chill. Jump points were the only way to travel between star systems. If the Nexari had succeeded in collapsing them, Earth would have been cut off from the rest of the galaxy. Isolated, vulnerable. "Good work, Colonel," Davis said. "Secure those devices. I want our people to study them right away." "Already done, sir," Martinez replied with a smile. "We also captured their command staff. They're talking, giving up Nexari battle plans, fleet positions, everything." Davis turned to his executive officer. "Send this information to all fleet commanders. The Nexari were more dangerous than even we thought." Across 3 sectors of space, the Joint Human Council fleet pressed its advantage. For the first time in the war, the Nexari were retreating. On the contested world of Lyra 5, a Valaxian commander named Telvar watched in amazement as human dropships landed directly in the middle of a Nexari base. The humans had bypassed all the defensive lines, all the careful battlefield preparations, and simply attacked the center of enemy power. "They fight like no species I have ever seen," Telvar said to his aide. "Reckless," the aide replied. "They take too many risks. Yet they succeed," Telvar said thoughtfully. "Perhaps it is we who have been too cautious for too long." After years of fighting defensively, of giving ground slowly and carefully, the Council forces began to follow the human example. Attack, don't just defend. Move quickly, take risks when the reward is worth it. 3 days later, Admiral Davis received the news he had been waiting for. The Nexari fleet was in full retreat across all fronts. On the bridge of the Valiant, Davis opened a channel to all human and Council ships. "This is Admiral Davis to all forces. The Nexari are running. But our job isn't done yet. We push forward, we secure these systems, and we make sure they can never threaten any of our worlds again." A Crete captain responded on the command channel. "Admiral, my crew is exhausted. We have fought nonstop for 3 days." Davis nodded. "I understand. But human ships will continue the advance. Anyone who wants to join us is welcome." To the surprise of many, every Council ship stayed with the fleet. Something had changed in these past weeks. The older species had seen what humanity could do, and more importantly, they had seen what they could do when they fought alongside humans. As the joint fleet jumped to the next system, news of their victories spread across the galaxy. The Nexari, who had seemed unstoppable just weeks ago, were now on the run. And it had all started the day humans left the Council. 1 year after humanity left the Galactic Council, representatives from 27 species gathered aboard the human flagship UNS Defiance. The ship floated in space above Earth, its massive hull gleaming in the sunlight. In the main conference room, Commissioner Greg Wilson stood before the assembled delegates. Behind him, large windows showed the blue-green planet below. Wilson was not a military man or a career diplomat. He had been chosen for his fairness and clear thinking. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history, Wilson began. The Nexari threat has been contained. Their leadership has surrendered. Their war fleet has been disbanded. The room was silent. Many beings present had never expected to see this day. But our work is just beginning, Wilson continued. The old Galactic Council failed because it was built on the wrong foundation. The oldest species made decisions for everyone else. They kept knowledge from those they deemed too young or too dangerous. Several of the alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. They had been part of that old system. Today, we signed the charter for the new Interstellar Defense Alliance, Wilson said, an organization built on different principles. He activated a display showing the structure of the new alliance. It was nothing like the Council's rigid hierarchy. First, leadership will rotate among all member species, Wilson explained. No single group will control our shared future. Second, all technology and knowledge will be shared openly. No more secret archives. No more restricted research. And third, all members must contribute resources to our common defense. The burden must be shared equally based on each world's ability. Wilson looked around the room. These are human ideas. They come from our history, our experience as a young species, but we believe they will serve all of us better than the old ways. The Valaxian representative stood. My people were among the founders of the old council. We believed our age gave us wisdom. We were wrong. When danger came, it was the humans, the species we dismissed as children, who saved us all. One by one, the representatives signed the charter. As they did, a new era began. In the observation lounge of the Defiance, Commander Jack Miller and Admiral Susan Wright watched the ceremony on a screen. It had been a long year since Miller had walked out of the council chamber. Did you ever imagine it would end like this? Wright asked. Miller shook his head. I just wanted them to help our colonies. I never thought we'd end up remaking the entire galactic order. Through the window, they could see ships from many worlds moving in formation with human vessels. Crew members of different species worked together, learning from each other. They finally understand, Miller said. It's not about who has the oldest civilization or the most planets. It's about who's willing to stand and fight when it matters. Wright smiled. And about who's willing to forgive past mistakes and work together. In the distance, construction ships were assembling a massive structure in Earth orbit. It would be the headquarters of the new alliance, located around humanity's homeworld rather than some ancient neutral planet as the old council had been. Down on Earth, schools were adding new history lessons. Children learned about the day humans left the council and how everything changed after that. In the farthest reaches of the galaxy, ships bearing the new alliance symbol, a circle of stars around a human handshake, patrolled together. Species that had once looked down on humans now sent their best officers to train with Earth's fleet. And on a small colony world that had once been attacked while the council did nothing, a human family looked up at the night sky. They no longer feared what might come from the stars, because now humanity had proven itself. Not just as warriors, not just as inventors, but as the species that could bring the galaxy together in a way the ancient civilizations never could. The day humans left the council, everything had indeed changed. And most agreed, it had changed for the better.